You are listening to the Esthetician's Anymore podcast with Brittany Hageman, episode number 170. 170. Do you want to make $100,000 revenue in your esthetician business? If so, I would love to show you how. I want to invite you to coach with me in my one-to-one coaching program. It's completely customizable. The way that it works is we sit down and figure out what you've been doing in your business that hasn't been working, and then make a very specific plan that I help you follow over the course of 6 months to get it done. We meet weekly for 30 minutes and discuss exactly what went well that week and we're going to do next week, whether it's your pricing needs to be raised, or you need to have boundaries with your clients, or if you need to learn how to sell skincare, or you need to niche down and you're doing way too many services and not making money, or all of the above. Whatever the issue is, whatever the reason is you're not making money, we'll figure it out together and we will grow your business into a really profitable business that's sustainable, that you love, and that really helps people. I cannot wait to be your coach and to work with you. To learn more, go to the link in the show notes. And with that, on with today's episode. Wow. I can't believe I've done 170 episodes. How exciting and how wonderful that you're here listening. I'm so grateful. I want to talk today about something that I think is an important thing to think about and consider while you're growing your business. Something that I have dealt with, and most of my clients, I would say, trying to think about any clients over the past 4.5 years that I haven't seen this with. No one stands out. I can't think about anyone. Maybe one client I feel like hasn't dealt with this, and that is rejection. The fear of rejection and the challenge of rejection. It's pretty well known, I think, and it's something that I obviously talk about here a lot on my podcast, on my Instagram, about how rejection is part of being a business owner, right? So asking people to book, them not coming in, doing posts, no one, when I say no one, I mean like 3 people liking it, no one engaging with it, telling people about your business and it's cricket, like having a new client come and then not booking, rebooking again, or not buying product, someone who comes consistently and then all of a sudden can't come anymore. Like, these are all examples of how an esthetician business owner can feel rejected in their business. I am not saying that you are actually rejected in these moments. I actually don't think any of those actually are rejection, but it can really feel like rejection. And I think I've talked about this in the podcast before. I don't know if I've talked about it specifically, but rejection, feeling like you're not allowed or belong to a group, is one of the things our primal brains hates the most. And we previously, and I still actually believe it to be true now, but especially when we lived in villages and we literally, worked together as a village to live and share food and resources and all the things, however many hundreds of years ago as that was. If you were cast out of that village, let's say it's like 40 people in a village or 100 people or whatever, if you were cast out, people didn't like you and you were told to leave, that meant death, like literal death. Like, you'd go out to the wilderness by yourself. The food and things you had to protect yourself and to feed yourself were very limited. If you even got that and you were like kicked out, it was like you are now with the wolves, right? Or the bears or whatever. And being part of a village, of a community where you can protect each other and provide for each other and take care of each other, that was imperative for survival. And social skills were developed because of this, right? Like, to be able to be social with people so that you can build relationships, to create this sense of community. Language, all of this stuff was built off of trying to survive as a species. So when something happens that our brain interprets as rejection, it is very common for us to instantly go into that fight or flight response. especially if you've been rejected in your life before. You may just have a normal brain where like you DM someone who has followed you and they don't respond, and instantly you're like, oh, that was not fun. I didn't like that. But it's kind of the end of it. And then you kind of move past it, and you could either do it again and you get better at it, you kind of get a thicker skin. Other things happen, like you're like, okay, like whatever. Or it's been 3 weeks and you're still wondering what you did in that message, why that person didn't respond. If you're in the first example, that's just like a normal human brain. Like, I don't like putting myself out there, and oh, I didn't get the response I wanted, and that kind of sucks and makes me feel awkward. Totally normal human brain. And that I definitely teach and coach my clients to get over that and move past it and feel that discomfort and still show up and do it anyways. And that is those clients who have that quote unquote normal brain reaction. I'm sorry, I don't want to say anything's really normal or normal, but like a not a history with rejection reaction, if you can still follow me. If they get results much faster in their business because they don't have to overcome agony and pain that somebody else may experience with the exact same situation. I can have 2 esthetician clients that DMs new followers. They each DM 3 new followers. And each esthetician client will get no respond back to each follower. And one is like, hey, oh man, that sucked. Oh well, I'll try again next time. And one is like, they must hate me. They must looked at like my profile and thought I was weird, and they must like judge me, and now they think I'm really weird and awkward, and now I've reached out to them and it's clear they saw it. I saw that they saw it, and it's clear that they, whatever story that they have now, these estheticians have in their brains, right? These are 2 things I see consistently. So if you are in that camp of something happens in your business in a way that you don't expect it to go or want it to go, and you have a story of the way that that person or people think about you and the way that they judge you and who you are and value as a human, then this is the episode for you. And if you don't have this problem, this will be a great like reminder for you. If you were in that camp of having these elaborate stories, and when you really start to spin, when I say spin, it means like you obsess, you ruminate over these interactions, whether it's an online interaction, in-person interaction, you talk to someone, you tell them, oh, I'm a lash artist, I do lashes, and blah, 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 and they look at you like they could care less, or they're just like, like, then you're like, why did I say it that way? I should have said it this way. What was I thinking? They didn't know anything. Like, I should have been better at telling them. And I lost a potential client, and they could have had 5 people that they could have referred. And now I lost the whole thing. And like, it's this whole obsessive story where you're telling multiple people about it. You can't let go of it. It becomes really hard because you're like, no, I'm not going to tell someone I'm a lash artist because the last person was bored and not interested. I'm not doing that again, right? If this is the case for you, first, I want to let you know that there's a really good chance you have dealt with rejection in your personal life, well, at least once, but not multiple times. And I can say this for certain from my own experience. As a kid, I had a really hard time making genuine friends. I had friends. I was in the popular group. Genuine people. They were not genuine friends. And I eventually left that friend group when I was a sophomore in high school because it was such a toxic, mean girls friend group. And honestly, none of them were my actual friends, despite me really hoping that I had real, genuine friendships in those relationships. And so because of me deciding I wasn't going to be friends with this group of friends anymore, my first day of junior year in high school, I did not have anyone to have lunch with, or we called it brunch, which is our first break of the day. And I also did not test out of PE, which you could have done at the end of your sophomore year. And I did not pass the exam because, as you may know, I'm not a great athlete. And so I was going to be in a PE class with a bunch of sophomores. And so it was not a good day for me. And my first PE class, I saw another junior in it, and her name is ironically Brittany. And we ran over to each other because we both were juniors in sophomore PE and we hadn't tested out. And I remember her asking her, is it okay if I have lunch with you? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And I fortunately got to have lunch with her the rest of high school, and we are still friends today, and she's been an incredible friend. But even into my 20s, if you may know, if you listen to this podcast, I had a hard time building great friends. Like my college ended up being pretty like split between a bunch of different colleges, so I didn't have like that college experience with people that a lot of people have. Getting jobs out of college was hard, so like I didn't have like a group of friends from work. It was a long process, and I eventually did meet friends in San Diego and had a bunch of friends and have been much more successful with friendships as an adult than I was as a kid. But that part of me is still there, right? That little girl that when I was in elementary school would go up to my friends to play with at recess, and they would run away laughing, think it was like a funny joke to like exclude me, which they did regularly. It was a lot of like mean girl bullying and stuff like that. And I imagine if you really struggle with the feeling of being rejected consistently in your business, you probably have similar rejection stories, whether it's with family, with friends, loved ones, people who are supposed to not reject you. It could be more surface level like me or more deeper. And I just want to let you know that that story, that experience that you have is going to make it a lot harder for you until you get help resolving that story and making that less heavy on your heart. I know this is like sounds really heavy, but it's true. And that really needs to be through like therapy, EMDR, mental health professionals that actually as a coach I am not qualified to do. I'm happy to like make that aware, help you become aware of it and like aware this is something that you're thinking. And I can help you, like I can hold space for that, and I can help you with strategies to continue on. But the agony and the pain that you may be having while you're trying to grow your business, that's not going to go away even if you're making money. And I know this because I've had over the past, I guess now 5 years that I've been coaching, 4.5, 5 years now that I've been coaching estheticians. I have coached a number of estheticians that are making $200,000-$300,000 a year. Their business is making $200,000-$300,000 a year, and they constantly feel the fear of rejection, even though there's zero evidence that people are rejecting them. Like they are booked, they are making money, their clients are happy, like they have a wait list, people are begging to see them, and they still walk around with these feelings of rejection and the pain of rejection. And any conversation that goes in a way that isn't what they expect or want, they take as rejection. And I'm not saying this is a criticism of any of those estheticians or of you if that is your experience. I am just saying that as this is a thing that is naturally your brain doesn't like. And if you've had experiences that has intensified this, then your brain's really not going to like it, and it's going to do everything it can to prevent you from doing those tasks to feel more rejection. It does not want you to feel this way. It's like, this is awful. We are going to die. This is not going to work for us. So what are we going to do to teach? So if you're listening to this and you're like, this is me, I really want to lovingly encourage you to get someone to help you with these feelings. I do think I'm a great coach, but I don't have the skill set. It's not within my scope to do like counseling as much as it is like motivation and holding space for someone. So I want you to think about that. And I also, if you are on the other side where you have these minor things happen and you don't love it, but you don't go into like a huge despair of it, it's not like something is wrong with me, I suck, you don't kind of spiral, you're just like, oh, I didn't like that and I want to do more of it because I know I need to do that. Like that's going to help me get my goal, but I feel like really I don't want to do that. I have some tips for you right now. So one of the things I've talked to this, I think, in a podcast before, one of the things that is helpful in my business is email marketing, like sending emails to my email list. And I, 9 times out of 10, hate sending emails. I hate it. Like my brain's always like, let's not do this. This is a terrible idea. Like if I miss an email a week, you know my brain most likely has gotten the best of me. If you're on my email list, which I hope you are, great, please join me. Like I send an email every week and then I send more at certain times of the year. And this is the story that my brain tells me, okay? So I just want to normalize this for you. First of all, before I tell you that story, I've had a number of my clients tell me they love my emails and they look forward to them every Monday morning. And I'm always like, she's lying. That person who just said that, they're just saying that to be nice. They don't think that. There's no way. There's 0 chance that could be true. Okay, so my brain does not ever believe this. So the way that my brain always thinks about email is like if someone gives me their email address, I think of it like if a new neighbor comes and moves next door and you're like, hey, come over if you need anything. Like, it's great to meet you, like whatever. That's me giving my email address to that person, okay? And that person at 6 a.m. knocking on my door being like, hey, do you have any coffee? You told me I could come over anytime I want. And like they just come every day asking for coffee. And you're like, yeah, I meant like if you need a cup of milk once a year or whatever. Like if you're like going on vacation and you want me to get your mail. Like I didn't mean like you're like knocking on my door all the time. So that's how I feel when I go to send an email. I'm like, they're going to be like, I gave you my email, lady, but like, I would email you twice a year, okay? Or like something really special. This like weekly emailing and then daily emailing during your launches, like not a fan of this. So then if someone unsubscribes, which happens like at least once or twice a month, if not more, if I'm doing a launch and people unsubscribe at a higher rate, it's really hard for me to keep going. It's really hard for me to be like, it's fine. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep, telling people what I want to say. I feel less of this on Instagram. Email is harder for me than Instagram. I think I've been doing Instagram longer and I have a better mindset around it. And it doesn't feel so spammy as email does to me. So I have to just spend a lot of time of like, I know this is hard for you. If people want to leave, they can leave. They can unsubscribe. They can unfollow you. It's on Instagram. People do care. Even if it's 10 people care. And like really reminding myself of the values of my business, what I'm trying to achieve, how I'm trying to help people, and kind of like pull myself out of the doubt spiral that I go into when it comes to sending emails. I would say that is the case for most people in marketing. There are the natural people who are just born marketers and they don't even flinch at the idea of sending emails or like DMing people or talking about their business or the business they work for, right? Like there are people that it's just like a natural thing for them. But I would say most people, and definitely most esthetician business owners, it is not a natural skill that you have. So acquiring this skill, getting comfortable at this skill is going to take a ton of effort from you. It's going to take a ton of mindset work and being intentional and processing your thoughts and beliefs and not allowing yourself to go down the rabbit hole of panic or over researching or whatever.
things we do to like make ourselves feel better when we're marketing. It feels really productive to do all of those things when it's time to market, because that feels productive even though you're actually not marketing, versus putting boring, I'm putting the boring in quotes, but like simple boring things out every day that to use, like this is the same story I've been telling 1,000 times. Like we stick with the lash example, like you don't have to wear mascara, you don't take your makeup off, like it's like naturally like looking amazing or whatever the message is. Like I've been saying that message every day for 6 months. Like, yes, that is what it is. You want to keep saying that same message in different ways over months and creating value for people. And your brain's like, that is a long and boring process. I want to look over here where it's like, there's no chance of rejection. There's no chance of me not doing it right because I'm just learning. And I'm going to learn something that is going to change things forever for me, that I don't have to do the marketing stuff. And if like rejection, of course, is something that you don't love even more than a normal person, again, quote unquote, then you're really going to keep trying to find other reasons and other ways that you can grow your business, like reasons why online and in-person marketing doesn't work. You're going to have a lot of reasons why those don't work, because it's going to keep you safe. So wherever you identify in this episode, whether you are someone who feels rejection constantly when it comes to your business, or if you feel very little rejection, you don't want to even call it rejection, I just want to encourage you to look at what you're telling yourself. And if you're telling yourself stories of like, something is wrong with me when it comes to you growing your business and marketing your business, that means something else is going on for you. And of course, I'm not saying you don't want to improve as an esthetician if that is an opportunity for you and there's other things that you could improve upon. But believing something is wrong with you and that is why your business isn't growing, that belief is going to be a hard belief to shake on your own. You need help shaking that belief. And if it's just a belief that you have because it just kind of feels like that, versus like this is who you believe who you are, that depends on how much help you need working through it. So I encourage you, if this is something that is like really deep and hard for you, to reach out to a mental health professional to really help you process it and work through it. And if it's more of just like a feeling, you just kind of feel yucky about it, but it's not super hard and exhausting for you, then coaching is definitely the way that you should go to get through that, to get to the other side where marketing is just kind of a second nature thing, that you don't always love it. You don't love every aspect of it, but it's something that you can do and you feel relatively confident about. And this is also the same thing with like, I find a lot with estheticians where they get through the marketing part, the initial marketing part of their business. When they start growing their business, they actually have like a good amount of regulars and money coming in. And then those regulars are people and they do things that people do, like no show for appointments, cancel, return products, say they're having a reaction, all these things that happen in esthetician businesses. And that rejection side of your brain comes rearing back out again. I'm a terrible esthetician. People hate me. They don't show up. I don't know what I'm doing, right? So if you don't resolve this, or resolve it to the best that you can resolve it, because obviously some of these things can never like fully go away. But if you don't work on it, it's going to keep coming up. No matter how much money you make, no matter how successful you are on paper, you're just going to be tormented by it in a different way. And I know, especially if you're newer growing your business, you're like, no, if I'm making 10 grand a month in my business, I won't feel this way. Yes, you will. Yes, you will, because you'll have way more clients. And the more clients you have, the more possibility of having people that are not an ideal client, right? who doesn't use products as directed and give themselves a minor chemical burn, or, keeps canceling the very last minute before you can charge them and messing up your days again and again. And it's really hard not to take those things personal. But if you don't learn that when it comes to marketing, not taking things personally with marketing, you're going to have a really hard time when it feels much more personal because they're telling you specifically, like, I had a reaction, or I can't afford to come in this month. And you're like, they don't value me, they don't like me, all the things. So working on this mindset is imperative for growing your business. If you want help with this, use the link in the show notes to book a free discovery call with me. We can talk more about it, see if you're a good fit for my program. It's a 6-month coaching program. We meet 3 times a month and work on business, marketing plans, as well as the mindset around it. I also do work with estheticians that are already established in their business and have money coming in, but they are still dealing with the same issues and they are on the verge of burning out and exhaustion. So wherever you are in your business, I'm here for you. I cannot wait to talk to you next week. Thank you for listening. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, if you like this podcast, please rate and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. I cannot tell you how much that helps my podcast grow. So you can click 5 stars if you like it and you want to give me 5 stars. And please leave a review about telling me why you like it so that I can help other estheticians grow their business. Thank you so much.